right, good morning, everybody. Welcome in. How are you? Let's see what wants to come through today. These readings are for the spiritual path. If you're here because of the title, there's definitely something here for you. So if it doesn't resonate for you, just leave it alone and let other people be part of it. Okay. If you're new to the channel, welcome in. If you've been on the channel and watched for a while and haven't subscribed yet, please do, because it does help the channel grow. So thanks a lot in advance for that. So let's see what wants to come through today. All right. Phoenix rises into joyful abundance. Deliver your greatest gift to the world. Absolutely. Find your star family in this cosmic game of hide and seek. And how can this be a wonderful win-win-win? So that feels very uplifting. It feels very much like it's time to get yourself out there. And, you know, I do teach a business class, a spiritual business class for people who are building spiritual businesses. And one of the most common things that I hear is, I don't want to be seen doing a spiritual business. I don't want to be seen. And I think it's bigger than that. It's not just about being seen doing the spiritual business. It's about, in general, there's an issue around being seen. And it's probably because you've never been seen. And being seen feels overwhelming. When we're used to not being seen, having a lot of attention may feel good, or it may feel really scary. So, but mostly I find that it's just it's a learned response to what feels safe and what feels not safe. And sometimes feeling safe was definitely not safe, or feeling seen was definitely not safe, right? Like being in the center of, a problem. And I definitely remember a lot of that, like identified patient. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up, about being the one who was blamed for everything that was going on in the family. And mostly because they just didn't have any way of managing their own emotions. And so it was like easier to shove it off on another person. So if that's news to you, but it feels familiar, I would go down that rabbit hole. That's a very important rabbit hole. All right. So let's see, because I feel like this is about you stepping into the limelight. And if you're hesitant or resistant in any way, then there's definitely something to look at. It's definitely something to look at. All right. So let's see, underneath is the World, the Seven of Pentacles. Wow, we've got the Fool, we've got the Empress. I love this. The Fool, the Empress, and the Eight of Pentacles. So some of you are shifting from, this looks a little bit like more traditional kind of life into something that's more your industriousness, right? There's definitely this ending of a cycle from a Seven of Pentacles kind of life, and the new energy is going toward Empress. So some of you could be graduating from being an employee to being an employer. Some of you could just be getting out of a corporate situation and starting your own thing. Some of you without employees, right? Some of you could just be on your own. But I feel like there is some help out there. If you need help, ask for it. There's just zero chance you're great at everything. So in my view, and what I've done is I recognize the things I don't want to do. It's not like I'm saying, oh, I'm terrible at that. I'm terrible at this. Can I do it? Sure. Do I want to? No. That's a very different energy than I'm going to do everything because I don't really know what I'm good or bad at, or what I want to do or what I don't want to do. Most likely what I don't want to do. I just feel like I've been doing that. I've been doing a lot of I don't want to do. So I feel like that's changing. The Chariot, beautiful energy here. Two of Pentacles, you get to decide. And the Two of Cups coming in. The Four of Pentacles. Wow. Five of Pentacles, Eight of Cups. Boy, are you going to, I'm not going to say hit some kind of wall, but there's something here about getting to a new level. Now, this definitely happened to me in 2022, end of 2021, 2022. And I didn't know that I had a block right? I worked through all my money blocks. I worked through all of my, not all, but I worked through some of my self-worth blocks. What was I worthy of? Can I be a success? What does that even mean? What does success look like to me? Slow mornings, ability to travel, having freedom. Yay! That's success to me. And, that's in my own experience. Success to me is also about, am I helping others? Am I doing something that puts value out into the world? That's what I care about. I just care about having an experience every day where I feel like at the end of the day, hey, I put something of value into the world. And a lot of you guys write me all the time and tell me I'm doing that. Yay. Okay. If there's something in a reading that you take away that helps you, that's what I'm here to do. Four of Pentacles and Five of Pentacles. I called this out in a reading yesterday. I don't know if it was Scorpio or Libra, because I did those yesterday and the morning message for today. But this Four of Pentacles is about keeping yourself small. And then the Five of Pentacles is about shame. And we talked a little bit about shame yesterday, about, there can be people around you who try to keep you small so that they don't feel so inferior by comparison. And, this can be parents, this can be siblings, this can be just your general, community, what you grew up in, what you're used to, what is known. What are the expectations around me? Can I be seen? You're stepping into becoming the Empress. And so the more you do that in 2021 and 2022, the more I had this feelings of inferiority, or feelings I'm not worthy of this. I'm not worthy of this. And it's because that's somebody else's voice. Because I am. And so are you. Okay. And until you realize that your value comes from inside, it's not what other people say is your value. It's what you believe is your value, what you are embracing as your value. All of those things are relevant. What somebody else says is your value is really of no consequence. Because you know why? Because it's just a projection of their own. If they feel bad inside and they don't want you to be successful or better, they're going to project that you're the bad one, so they feel better. And that's not even really super down the scale of narcissism. Not really. That's just someone who's very unevolved and very unhealed. And when people are unhealed and they're unaware of it, wow, that's a horrible combination, because it's too sort of deadly for them to look in the mirror. And so you might be dealing with that. And when shame does come up, shame is different than guilt. And I said this yesterday too. Shame is that someone said you're bad. Not the thing you did was not okay. The infraction, the, breaking of the rules or whatever, like that was just an action. But this is about saying a person is bad. And when that happens, that sticks with a person. This trauma. So there's a big difference in that. And that is, when someone does that, instead of, they shift from the thing you're doing is something I don't like, but you're inherently good. The thing you're doing or wonderful or valuable or whatever it is. Again, this is an external person giving you your sense of self-worth or lack of self-worth. But when you realize this, there may be a lot of anger. When you realize that someone has tried to push you down in order to keep themselves up here, what comes out is rage, especially if it's impacted your life for a long period of time. Because you're like, look at all the opportunities I missed out on. Look at what you did to me. Look at all. And yes, you are now saying someone's doing something to you, but now you have the opportunity to mobilize that anger and use that to claim your rightful spot. You get a vote in this. You get to say, your own value. You get to see your own value. And anger is not a bad thing. Mars in Leo. Be seen. Take action to be seen. I feel like that's what we're seeing right now with a lot of people, that if this has been the experience of life, 4 of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles, you don't matter, you don't have what it takes, you're not worthy, whatever. Nope. Walking away from that nonsense. You probably have had a lot of people in your life too reflect that same thing. You might even be attracted to that because it's an unhealed wound. So you keep attracting it. The reason you keep attracting it is not because you're not worthy. It's because your soul is giving you an opportunity to heal that. That's why you keep attracting it. When you heal it, you won't attract it anymore. Okay? You won't attract it anymore. Ace of Wands. And then you gotta determine what fills its place. Ace of Wands, 3 of Wands, 5 of Swords. Are you seeing now the people who are doing that as, oh, okay, I'm not taking that in as if they're telling me the truth. This is a person I was supposed to be able to trust. And I'm angry that you used your position of trust to make me feel small. But guess what? World, Fool, Empress. Stepping into being the Empress. Nobody messes with that Empress. Okay? That is a force. Okay? The Empress is a force. And I feel like you have this awareness now. The Ace of Wands is like ideas and awareness. 3 of Wands. Okay, let this flow into me. And there's gonna be an opportunity to say, you owe me an apology. There's going to be an opportunity to say, how dare you? How dare you push someone down so you can feel bigger? There's going to be an opportunity. Okay? There's going to be an opportunity. There's 2 of Pentacles and there's 2 of Cups up here. I feel like you're walking towards something that's very unfamiliar to you. You know, when somebody says, oh, this love, it feels like home. I'm always like, was home a good thing or a bad thing? Did you have people who pushed you down or who lifted you up? Because when I talk about the levels of consciousness, the 3rd level of consciousness is about power. And we do have we do have Pluto in retrograde. This weekend, we have a Uranus cazimi, which is the sun conjunct Uranus. And a cazimi is basically, it's kind of like a Jupiterian like explosion, right? When the sun hits any planet, causes that to expand, the energy expand. And Uranus is already about surprise transformations. So it's possible that, you know, with Pluto in retrograde for the next 5 months, we're really digging up some of these old wounds to be healed. And this weekend, there might be something coming along that is a win-win-win. There's some kind of opportunity here. What's that about? Some kind of opportunity. Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, 7 of Wands, Knight of Pentacles. So if you've done your homework here and taken good care of yourself, you are going to have the energy of a Queen of Swords. And remember, the Empress has all the queens. Okay? Wands, Pentacles, Swords, and Cups. The 7 of Wands is about the having to stand up for oneself. So there might be a surprise attack. And I feel like you could be surprised at what you say. You could be surprised at the ferocity of rage that comes out of you for, you know, you having betrayed yourself all these years by agreeing with these people about making yourself small. You could have some kind of real ferocity. And I feel like that might be like, ooh, wow. So Virgo is here. Virgo energy is about steady, stable, grounded, stay grounded. You know, maybe you want to write out some things of what you'd want to say. Just think about what this scenario might be. If the person who has, kept you down or has belittled you, undermined your self-confidence all these years, comes calling this weekend, or there's some kind of opportunity to talk to them, it may turn into some kind of fight. And by fight, I mean them being shocked that you're standing up for yourself. And it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no fight here. I mean, the fight I've had is that I've agreed with you and I've betrayed myself all these years. Not no more. Not no more, he's not. What is this 2 of Cups up here? Now, some of you, okay, 9 of Swords, 7 of Swords, 10 of Pentacles, and the Knight of Wands. Some of you, this is not a family member or someone from your past. Well, not a family member or somebody who did the original keeping you down kind of thing. This is more of an experience where you get an opportunity for love or partnership, and the same thing gets triggered. And so that sort of catapults you into that rage, or it catapults you into betraying yourself. And then there's rage there. Like, oh, I did it again. I knuckled under to this. I did it again. I betrayed myself. And this can come through other people around you who may be wanting to partner with you or wanting to be in a love relationship with you, but they're not really bringing much to the table. Okay. They say they talk a good game. I feel like they've put you on the fence. Some of you have a love partner coming back in who's their key trait is ambivalence, meaning they don't really give you their full attention. They're not available to really deeply love you. And that is sort of all part of this. When another person is ambivalent or is like, they're saying to you, I don't know if it's worth it to me to do this. That's how you might hear it. I feel like the person that is coming back around shows you that they are ambivalent, and you might see it through new eyes now. You might see this as a lie. Okay. That they're getting their own needs met, and in none of this are your needs met. Queen of Cups. There she is. I love it. Page of Wands, 3 of Swords, and the Moon. I feel like this is a wellspring of internal feelings that shows up that says, I'm not this small person. I'm not this one that you kind of shit all over. I'm not this person that allows people to kind of show up in my life and I just bow and scrape to their needs and my needs are completely unmet. I feel like that's going to run into a buzzsaw. And it almost might be like it shows up in a couple of different ways for you. A couple of different parts of your life show you that you've been outsourcing your value to other people, letting them decide whether they want to be part of your life or not. And it's kind of like, actually, when you get mad, when you let rage do its work, when you mobilize rage, that is fuel. Okay. For healing, it's fuel for this next, this place where you are now rightfully aware of your own worth and value. And this doesn't even exist anymore. Like the contracts are broken or finished because you no longer are doing your part. So you could tie up a lot of loose ends here. And I think that's true because I'm seeing this, it's the World and then the Fool. So it's the endings and then the new beginnings. I'm not serving someone else's needs. And you may not even know what your needs are. But this is the first step. All right, let's keep going. I want to see what happens. I want to see where we go with this. All right, so if you want to continue on, if this is your story, link is below. I'll see you over there. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.